Hello, and in this video I'm going to do some more thinning in the garden of the borders. I'm going to rearrange the garden a little bit for winter, and I'm also going to prepare the greenhouse and the plants inside for winter as well. First things first, in my last video I said I must cover this palm to stop any water getting in. It's spear-pulled. You can see there's a massive gap there. It's still a firm spear, but with water moisture getting in there, it's going to cause more rot. So I promptly forgot to do that after the last video, but I've decided that actually I am going to dig that one out and replace it with this much nicer plant there. I can't just swap the position, unfortunately, because obviously these are matching pots, and actually from inside the house those are the two most prominent plants in the entire garden. So bit of a something I've missed really for the past few months is that actually should have done this a long time ago, because that's looked horrible for some months now. So sometimes you don't see the things that are right in front of you. If you see them every day, you don't notice how bad they look. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm simply going to dig it out with a spade. I think that the roots won't have established very well. I only potted it up earlier this year. There we go, as I expected, came out really easy. You can still see the shape it was in its previous pot as well. Okay, I'm going to pot that up and put that in the greenhouse to recover. Hopefully it will recover, and probably give it the full year next year, and then it should be hopefully ready to plant out again the following year. That one's established itself a bit better in the pot, hasn't it? You can see the massive roots on that. It's really heavy, this. There's nothing left in this pot. It's entirely rooted in nicely. So I need to take some soil out of this pot to make some rain. This was the chalk that I decided to use at the bottom of the pot for this plant. That's getting in the way, I think. You can see that I haven't got much height to play with here, so I'll have to dig right to the bottom, I think. It's still very high, but I don't think I can do anything else about it. Okay, one last thing to try. I'm just going to encourage some of the soil away from the roots right at the bottom, so that I can then squash it down a bit better. Another big rock. Okay, let's give that a go. Okay, I think that's better. I've squashed it in a bit. Now we'll fill it back in. Okay, I think that's done. Quick water obviously, then I'll put it back in position. Okay, and there's the new chamaerops humilis palm tree in position. It now matches, it's symmetrical. I've rearranged some of the square grey pots next to them. Ran out of plants. I don't really want to be planting new exotic plants at this time of year, so I'll do that in the spring. But I've moved a Canary Island date palm, which is on the end there, to this side, and it's actually a better position for it to get through winter as well, because right behind that wall is a radiator, and it'll get a bit more warmth from the house in that position rather than being right on the edge on that corner. So trouble is, when you do something this time of year, it makes a real mess of the grass and stuff, but I'm happy that that looks much better, and from inside it certainly will look miles better. So next, I was doing some thinning in my last video, and I'm going to do a bit more now. So this actually isn't as dense as I expected it to be, as some parts of the garden are. I've got a rose bush there, which doesn't do a lot really. Now this part of the jungle is where it's just getting really out of hand. So I've got a Sitka spruce here, which I'm going to chop down and put in one of the kids' rooms as a Christmas tree. You can just about make out a branch of a monkey puzzle tree there, and there is the leading stem of it. So I don't know, what's that, about 60-70 centimeters tall, but you just can't see it. So by taking this Sitka spruce out, we'll at least get a glimpse of it, and then it's just a case of thinning out some other stuff. You can get a bit more of an idea of it there. Look. Now, what I normally do with all these, I forget what they're called, these plants with the orange flowers, I normally pull them out in the spring once all the foliage has died back, and you can pull them out easily. If you pull them out now, it'll pull out the bulb as well. So I might just cut those back a little bit just to see how it looks, because it's hard to get a sense of what I need to do with it all flopping over everywhere. And you know, there's a nice couple of trachycarpus fortunei there, which you can't really appreciate because of all this clumping stuff everywhere. I've got a bit of a problem here. I'm definitely going to take out this heather that was here when I arrived. This tree here I'm going to take out. I might relocate it, not quite sure. It's a shame to chop down a tree, so I might even gorilla plant it, who knows. But that's got to come out. Then that will free up some space for the fatsia, which is growing. Although that's, you know, intertwining with the bamboo and the cordyline as well. I don't mind that so much. I think I can possibly just get away with all that. Just need to neaten up the bamboo a little bit there. But then I've got a waggy, Trachycarpus wagnarianus. Oh, I can't say it. There. And that is too close. So I think that's... something's got to go here. And I think I will probably relocate this Trachycarpus wagnarianus. But I'm not quite sure where yet. But once I've thinned it out a bit, I can have a proper, make an informed decision, let's say. Okay, so that came out much easier than I expected. To say it's been there at least 8 years, it's got virtually no root system to it at all. It has got some of this really annoying weed, horsetail I think it is, which I've actually done quite well in getting rid of with weed killer. But and I've seen hardly any of it this year, but it is still there, so that means it's obviously below there as well, and it will re-sprout from below soil next year, I believe. So I'll have the weed killer ready to deal with that. It's made a bit of a hole, isn't it? Which is of course the intention. And let's get in there now. I've got a bit better access to see what else I can do. Okay, nice pile there for the bin. You can see that actually I was able to just sort of use my hands. Sometimes I think your hands are the best tool in the garden. I was just able to pull these, I can't remember what they're called, with the orange flowers. Let me know, because I do know it, but I just can't think of it. So let me know in the comments. But I was just able to pull some of those off, and a few bulbs were coming up, which I don't mind because I've got, tens of thousands of these. But but mostly they were just breaking, leaving sort of a couple of foot of leaf. That was enough just to let me see what I'm dealing with, so I can see things a bit better now. I've decided that I'll wait before I tackle this section here. I'm going to probably do that in the new year, because I'm going to take these Sitka spruce in as Christmas trees for the kids first of all. Then I'll be able to tackle what's behind them. But I think that looks better once I clear this mess up. I think it's a start anyway. Okay, so here's the chamaerops humilis that is going to recover in the greenhouse, hopefully recover. Got a couple of spider plants which I bought early in the year. They're already starting to multiply. Look, you can see that's breaking up, branching off there and there, where it's going to form some new plants. That's great. I actually bought those to put in hanging baskets, which I'm going to do next year. I can't remember whose video I saw it on YouTube, but I definitely saw it, so I wish I could credit the person who I saw doing it. If you're watching this video, please let me know in the comments. But now I'm going to tackle the greenhouse now and prepare it for winter. And the first thing to do is to empty the greenhouse completely, and then I'm just going to give the panels a bit of a wipe down if I can, and then we'll take it from there. It seems a little bit strange preparing for winter when it's so warm. It's about 15 degrees today. We're forecast for temperatures of about 19, maybe even 20 degrees come Tuesday, which will be I don't know, about the 20th of October or something like that. So very warm for this time of year, but and the nighttime temperatures are also going to be very mild, no sign of any frost, which is great. Still got some flowers going here, which I imagine will last until the first frost. But it's dry today and it's warm, and I couldn't think of a better day for actually doing this, emptying the greenhouse, tidying it all out and putting it all back in. So that's why I'm doing it today. Sorry, I think you fell over during that. So here it is, one empty greenhouse. Just going to give everything a wipe down, including the glass. These grotty bits here I can't really do much about because it's where the panes overlap. But I'll just give the glass a quick clean down, all the surfaces. And then here is the contents of the greenhouse. I'll just give everything a once over, give it a tidy up. Look, there's loads of leaves to come off this little yucca here. Now, one or two plants are pristine. A lot more plants actually aren't looking so good, and there's a few in between as well. But I'm just going to give everything a tidy up. Trim loads of leaves off of this cordyline. You know, this cordyline, for example, I was hoping it would regrow from the base. It hasn't, and I mean that's rotted away. So I'll just get rid of things like that. There's some massive weeds that need to go. There's a couple of Canary Island date palms, Phoenix canariensis, that haven't shown any life, any sign of life yet. So I'll probably leave those till last to see if they go back in, because I have got some more plants to shove in the greenhouse for winter protection as well. So if there's room for them, I'll put them in a corner as well. If not, I'll get rid. Who reckons this palm tree needs a bigger pot? I've never quite seen anything quite like that. The root mass outside of the pot is as big as the pot itself. Not that the top growth is really showing that. Right. Seeing how disastrous the top looks, I'm just going to pretend I haven't seen that and get rid of that bit and deal with that in spring, I think. This one clearly hasn't made it. Rest in peace, little washingtonia robusta. And what I do with ones like this is give the pot, which in this case is an old Sprite bottle turned a funny colour, and it's hard to do one-handed, but I just basically pour it into the raised bed, and it goes to topping up that soil. There we go, that's the remnants, and I'll just shove that into a corner, let that compost down. Add this to the pile of things that aren't going back in. Now this yucca rostrata was kindly given to me a few years ago, but I haven't done a very good job looking after it, as you can see. So, or actually, is it it's a Thompsoniana, perhaps. And the very kind chap who gave it to me said that they are grown in trays of water. So that's what I've always done, and obviously for winter I'll take out the all the water, but in the summer I've been growing it in water, but I don't think it really likes doing it. So I probably misunderstood what my friend told me, but if you've got any ideas of whether yuccas are grown in trays of water, that'd be really good information for me to have. Okay, so I've been round and tidied them all up, done some weeding, got rid of a few dead ones. The children have helped give them a bit of a drink before they go in for the winter. And I've also got some plants from the patio area that were out for the summer, then they go back into the greenhouse for the winter. There's a Cycas revoluta there, a trachycarpus, I'm not sure what, but it's definitely not fortunei. Look how thin that trunk is. Got a Braha armata there, and this Braha edulis doing its own thing, you know, living its best life. Look, there we are. So what I'm going to do now is get my heat cables ready. Got two cables there, one's 15 watts, one's 25 watts, so not a massive amount of power. Got electricity there, and I'll actually run them both off the same plug so that I can plug in a fan heater if worst comes to worst. You'll notice that I'm not bubble wrapping the greenhouse. I don't do that. I know that lots of people who are very successful at growing palm trees and other plants, do always insulate the greenhouse. Monty Don goes on about it. I think that airflow is really important, and I would rather sacrifice a degree, maybe, in temperature for some better airflow. So that's why I don't do it. One quick tip, make sure that no foliage is touching the glass or it will get frost damage. Okay, that was hard work, but let's have a look. Everything's gone into the greenhouse. That's where it's going to stay for the next 5 months, I'd say at least. And actually, normally I can barely even step into the greenhouse when I do this. So I think because I lost quite a few plants last winter, I've got a bit of space. So what I've done with the heat cables, and the first thing I did was turn it on to make sure that A, they still worked, which they did, and B, you can then tell when the heat starts, because this bit of the cable doesn't heat up. It's only underneath that pot in the corner that it actually starts becoming a heat cable. So I've gone underneath the pots all the way around. I've then gone up to the top deck and done exactly the same. You can see I've gone underneath everything. I'm sort of winding in and out a little bit. Then amazingly enough, seems to happen every year, I get right to the end, and underneath this pot is the end of this cable. I'll better show you it there. There you go, you can see it there. That's the end. I had just enough cable. Managed to go around a couple of growing points as well. That was just a way of getting up to the top deck, really. But yeah, that's a good job done. Now I'm going to keep everything as dry as I can, but obviously I don't want anything to dry out completely, so it's a real hard balance of finding, working out how much water to give things so that they just tick over. But with it being forecast to be quite mild for the next week or so, I may be watering, in about a fortnight maybe, just a light sprinkling. Okay, hope you enjoyed that video. Hope you found it useful. If you've got any questions on the heat cables or anything that I've done today, or anything else that you've seen in the garden, please let me know. And thank you for watching, if indeed you still are.